Today on The Frugal Filmmaker, I start a short series about taking a small space and converting it into a studio where you can make your videos. And in today's part one, I talk about how to make your sound better in that small space. Now, I've never had any dedicated studio space, so I was really excited when we moved here and we basically had a spare room or a small room that was our laundry room. Now, in this room was a washer and dryer in a cube shape, and they're made out of metal, of course. But all the walls in this room are parallel to each other. You've got four facing walls that face the other wall. You've got a floor and a ceiling that face each other. And as a result, originally when you'd come in here and speak, sound would just bounce all over the place and it would sound terrible. So these are some issues that I had to address, and that you might have to address also if you're taking a small space and converting it, is this echoing problem. Now, the first thing you can do is bring in other irregular surfaces. And basically that can just be equipment that you're bringing in. I've got a lot of storage in here. And so I've got a couple of chests of drawers. I've got some storage crates against the wall. I've got a bookshelf. But it helps to create irregular surfaces that the sound can be reflected in bizarre, strange ways that won't be echoey or boomy. I've also got a desk back here that does kind of a similar thing. Although you might notice that a lot of these surfaces are flat and can still be considered parallel, whether it's the front of them being parallel to the opposite wall or the tops of them being parallel to the ceiling or floor. So it's still a problem, but it does help, and the more things you can bring in here, the better. If you have, I would recommend bringing in like a couch or something like that, or a bed, maybe like a futon if you're going to turn this into a spare room as well, because that soft material will help absorb the sound, which leads to my next step, which is to bring in soft material or blankets. Now, I don't have any official sound blankets, or moving blankets are good also. I just have a lot of regular blankets. So I brought them in here and I've covered them or put them on everything. I've got them hanging on my light stand. I've got them covering the washer and dryer. I've got them covering the bookcase and the storage containers. And all those things help to absorb the sound. Now, if you notice behind me on my desk, I've also got some cheap acoustical tile thumbtacked to the wall, because when I do my tabletop stuff, I'm going to be speaking in that direction. And basically, acoustical foam or tile is just a piece of foam that has kind of a jagged shape on one side and a flat surface on the other, so you can mount it to the wall. And it helps absorb the sound because of the material and the shape. And if you notice here, what I've got here is a not very aesthetically pleasing setup, because the foam tiles are kind of bulging and pushing into each other until they bulge out. And that just creates yet another irregular surface which helps to absorb the sound. Or if it does reflect in a strange way, that won't be picked up by the walls as easily. Finally, what I want to recommend is something you should be doing already, and that is using a microphone near your mouth and not the on-camera microphones that came with your camera. This is for a couple of reasons. The first one is the microphones in your camera are typically very, very cheap, not very good microphones. And the other one is that the cheap microphone on your camera is 5 or 6 feet away from your face, which means that when you're speaking, it's going to take 5 or 6 feet of travel to get to the microphone, which is terrible in any case. Even if you have a good microphone, you don't want it 5 or 6 feet away from your mouth if you're trying to speak into it. And those microphones are non-directional. They just record everything in every direction. So get a microphone, clip it to your shirt, get a lav lapel mic or a boom mic near your face, whatever. Just get that microphone as close to you as possible, and that will help make your sound better. Now, if you take all these things into consideration, it should definitely improve the sound in your room. And you might say, well, the sound in this room isn't perfect. That's true. I still have a lot of flat surfaces that aren't covered. I've got a floor that's not carpeted, which could help if you have a carpeted floor. But I think it's pretty decent. And if you're going to do something similar, hopefully this video will help you do the same. Please comment below if you have other ideas to help your small space sound better as a studio. If you like this video, please come to thefrugalfilmmaker.com and stay tuned for part 2, in which I will talk about lighting and camera angles in a small space. Thanks for watching.